Hi all, welcome to Module 3. Today we are going to be talking about developing the work breakdown structure and estimating the work for your project. I have reviewed some of your assignment directions for this in a separate video. It really focuses on what you're going to be doing as a group assignment, and it breaks down the work breakdown structure directions even further. But I do want to make sure that I'm covering all of the importance of the work breakdown structure in this short video. So let's just take a look at what the work breakdown structure is. You're really thinking about the work breakdown structure as an enormous to-do list for your project. It is usually broken down by phases of a project or by deliverables of a project. When you look at deliverables, those are called work packages. So you can think of a work package as maybe the venue, booking the actual venue for your event or project. So the actual space that you might have. So that might be a deliverable because that's a work package and it's one of the actual success factors. You need a place to actually host your event or project. So that might be one of the deliverables. In your instances where you're going to be completing your hypothetical project, you're going to be working with phases of a project. We've talked about these phases as the planning phase, the implementation phase, and the evaluation or post-implementation phase. And you're going to focus on each of those three phases for the learning experience in this class. So what the work breakdown structure does, it's again that high level of a to-do list, and it is the first step you take in building a realistic schedule. It also helps build the budget for your actual project. So it's a very important step. A lot of times it can be done, you want to think about it as just all the work that actually has to be done for your project and breaking it down into manageable chunks of work. So it really represents the entire project. You can see here, this is a software selection, and you can see their phases of the project: planning, defining the requirements, developing the vendor shortlist, who they're going to actually select for the software, determining vendor finalist and evaluating vendor finalists, and then project management. So you can see their phases of the software selection, which is their overall project. You can also, that is a graphical representation of a work breakdown structure. You can also see this is an outline format work breakdown structure. Either option is fine. It's whatever is appropriate for your place of business or your work or whatever you are doing. Many times the graphical representation, I have received so many of these that look very nice and professional. And then I've received others from students that are a little bit sloppier, and it might be a better idea if you are not a tech savvy group, and that's completely fine. The graphical representation the outline representation will be completely fine. So again, select what works for your group. I do want you to see, again, this is breaking down the work into the smaller chunks, and a lot of times, many of you may be gifted in this. Again, very logical, analytical people do this naturally. They look at a task. How is this going to be broken down? I've given the example before of your classes being projects. And again, analytical people, they look at the entire class. What has to be done? Well, what are some of the deliverables of your course this semester? There are group assignments. There are an individual assignment. There are exams. There are discussion questions, right? So those could be considered deliverables for this course. And so you're looking at how to accomplish each of those deliverables. All right, so we are going to think about, again, I'm going to emphasize this. The work breakdown structure is the first step in creating a schedule. You need to know how much work you actually have to do before you can schedule it, before you can organize it. So it's very important. I'm going to point out this little representation here. You can see the project definition document comes first, right? Defining that project, we've covered that assignment. And then developing the work breakdown structure. The work breakdown structure helps us sequence the work, develop the schedule, and finalize the schedule. It also helps us determine the resources that we need for the actual project, estimating the work packages, acquiring the resources, and developing the budget. Again, all of this comes together. But the work breakdown structure is absolutely foundational in this process. So you should know the key differences between the work breakdown structure as well as the project schedule, because they are not the same thing. Task dependencies are shown in the project schedule, but not the work breakdown structure. So if you are waiting for someone to complete the booking of the actual event location until you can create your marketing materials, that is a task dependency. So it's very important when you are actually creating your schedules that you are looking at that. Does something depend on this actually happening at this date? Very, very important distinction there. You also, when you look at the work breakdown structure, it does not show who is going to be responsible for each task. The schedule will be showing that who is responsible for each task. So again, important distinctions there. You can see, just make sure that I've covered all of this. You can see here is kind of a list of kind of some of the other reasons why the work breakdown structure is so important. It really helps outline how much work actually has to be done. There are clear responsibilities, so it really showcases, you know what, we didn't realize how much work we actually have to do. It looks like we're probably going to need to bring on an additional team member in order to accommodate this amount of work. So very important. It really highlights some important milestones in a project. And you can look at this in terms of work breakdown structure. There may be one in an existing organization. If you go to a very well-established program, a health program, such as maybe some of these races that happen around Memphis, right? The St. Jude Memphis Marathon Weekend, that is a huge entity. St. Jude raises money for childhood cancer research, and it is an enormous entity, and they put on lots of events as well as the marathon weekend. So they probably have an existing work breakdown template already in use in their facility. They are going to be looking at the major deliverables of the project, the major life cycle of the project, the major phases of the project. So, and they are also going to be asking the question of what does the actual end of this look like? What does the end look like? One of St. Jude's big goals that they are always working towards is to raise money for cancer research. So how are they doing that? They're doing that through lots of different fundraising events. And again, the success, the schedule, scope, budget, and quality of each of these events contributes to that overall raising funds for cancer research. So something to also consider when you're looking at the work breakdown elements, if you're breaking something down, it has to be broken down into where it is one deliverable with one owner. And I'm going to make sure that I show you some of those so that you can actually look at that. We're going to get into several of the deliverables. The work breakdown structure is usually developed with the team, because those who are actually doing the work should be developed with the people who are doing the work and approving the work. It's really a logical top-down decomposition of all the work that should be done, because really if you think the word marketing, right? Someone so-and-so, Jay over there, he's going to handle marketing, right? Well, Jay is a professional and he can handle marketing, absolutely, but what does that mean, marketing? You have to break all of the tasks for marketing down. Jay may need some help, right? So if he cannot do all of the items under the marketing material because he's working on several other projects, that should be discussed and evaluated and looked at, and how can we help Jay accomplish all the things that have to be done within the marketing deliverable. All right, so let's make sure that I'm covering our highlights here. I do want to make sure this is an important emphasis here. Knowing when to stop, knowing when the marketing deliverable has been broken down enough. It should have one task. It should be one work process and one owner. You can see over here I've created a little bit of a marketing, this is a very generic marketing headline where you can see create flyer, create social media, scheduled post, order printed flyers, develop email campaign for event announcement and registration, design event t-shirts. Well, you want to look and see, can all of these be broken down even further? So if if one person, you may look at creating the flyer. This may need to be done by, can this be broken down even further? Maybe you have a graphic designer, maybe two people are breaking this down. So you want to say that, you know, Karen's going to actually create the flyer, then it has to be approved flyer. That might be with someone else. So you might need to add approve flyer. Okay? So again, you want to make sure that all of the tasks are really broken down within their deliverable. In your case, you're going to be breaking it down within the phases of the project. All right, so let's come back over here. I do want to make sure that you are asking all the important questions when estimating the work. What work is being done? Who is going to do it? And what resources do we need in order to get this project off the ground? All right, so I believe this hits our highlights here. You want to, again, some of the discussions here that we have that talk about problems in estimating the work, that goes back to problems in failed projects, right? So you can see poor communications, right? That is something that we highlighted. Communication is a very, very important skill throughout project management. So of course, if that's going wrong within the work breakdown structure, that can continue to affect the success or failure of the project. I hope this has helped you. Please feel free to email me with any questions. Make sure to also to view the work breakdown structure directions for your specific projects. Have a great day. Thanks.